Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my frame test for the Xbox Series X version of GTA Online. In this video, I'll be going over a couple of scenarios, including Cayo Perico, of course, to see how the frames hold up. Inside of the casino, both the performance and performance ray tracing mode seem to be doing okay, mostly with a dip that goes towards the high 40s here and there, which isn't too noticeable in general play. In case you are wondering and you want to see a graphic comparison between the PS4 and PS5 version, by the way, check that out in the top right of your screen. Moving on to Cayo Perico. This is of course the big attraction where many of you will most likely spend a bit of time again. When it comes to the frames, mostly it's pretty good. It's pretty stable on around the 60 area, definitely for sure. But however, if stuff is going to start exploding and you're going to be seeing a lot of flames and smoke, that's when the frames are definitely taking a noticeable hit, even going as low as 35 FPS. Outside of the smoke and fire incident though, there really isn't any sort of noticeable performance issues when playing on performance mode on Cayo Perico. Going through all the foliage inside the island, I am noticing very little, if any, issues at all. But when it comes to the performance ray tracing mode, stuff becomes a little bit different. When entering the island on the boat and yeeting myself onto the island, I'm already noticing going towards the low 40s when it comes to the performance ray tracing mode. The frames are taking a noticeable hit when doing so, and it doesn't really seem to increase all that much towards the 60 FPS until I get actually near the compound. The performance ray tracing mode seems to be really struggling in this dock area here with a lot of foliage and, well, I guess a lot of ray tracing elements, I suppose. Luckily though, as soon as you get to the compound, the 60 FPS does make an appearance yet again, and we can actually start playing the game in the way that we want to. Smooth and silky 60 FPS. Inside of the compounds, unfortunately, there seems to be a similar issue as we were having outside as well, with some dips going towards the mid 40 FPS, which is a bit of a shame, but overall the performance is okay. It's kind of around the 50-55 mark and seems to not do too well in this area either when it comes to the performance. However, in the main city of Los Santos, 60 FPS is going to be something across the board. I'm noticing very little, if any, dips whatsoever when flying around on my Oppressor Mark II here, because, you know, gotta make sure to trigger a few people in the comment section when upon seeing this thing. And of course, with the performance ray tracing mode, there seems to be no issues either, like with the performance mode 2. However, I am sad to report that if there is any sort of way how you can make your FPS dip quite significantly, even going as low as 35 FPS on performance ray tracing mode, then standing in the middle of a highway and blowing up as much things as you possibly can with a tank will definitely do that. As you can tell, I have not hit 60 FPS or even 55 FPS yet with the performance mode when doing what the things that I'm doing at the moment. Unfortunately, on performance ray tracing mode, I'm even noticing dips as low as 35 FPS, and it's noticeable when you're going towards the 45-40 FPS kind of marker. 50 FPS, not really super noticeable, especially with the amount of motion blur going on in the game right now, but the more stuff that starts to explode and the more stuff around you, the more the game is starting to struggle, which is a bit of a shame, but it goes without saying that performance mode is by far the way to go. How much difference there is in terms of graphics, I personally don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that's going to turn out, but from what I've played, from general play, I don't really notice much of a difference between performance ray tracing and performance mode in terms of graphics, and I think unless you're really gonna look for it, you'll probably not find it, to be honest with you. I think in general gameplay, performance mode is going to be the way to go. One final test is going to be a simple drive during night on my Shitoro, which gives light, so, you know, maybe some ray tracing going on there too, but seems to be perfectly fine going on a relatively high top speed, as well as with the performance ray tracing mode seems to be doing totally fine. In general, I am pretty pleased with the performance of the game. It seems to be doing 60 FPS most of the time, especially on performance mode. It is running as smooth as it probably should. Obviously, there are going to be some dips here and there when the game gets a little bit busier, like I've shown earlier, but overall, it's a pretty well done remaster. And that is all there is to it. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, make sure to leave it a like, subscribe for more, and if you really like what's seen on the channel, please do consider becoming a member like Chloe, Robert, Madman Dakota, and Shapeshift Gaming. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all later.